All right. Welcome, welcome, ladies. We are back for another Nights with Nora, and I am your host, Nora Brown. I'm the founder and CEO of Girl Talk Inc., and I am so excited to be here, ladies. If you guys are seeing this podcast for the very first time, we are here to talk to you guys about your mental health. This series, you guys, is all about mental health and specifically moms in business, okay? As moms, I know sometimes we get so stressed and overwhelmed, and we don't know what direction to go in. And we are looking for some type of footing to get through this thing. So, I have a special guest here with me tonight, and I'm so excited to have her in the building. So, y'all send her some love and some appreciation. And I need you guys to go and like this video, share this video, and add any moms that you may know that are also business women or just moms in general. Because I know y'all, just being a mom within itself is a busy job. Okay, let's be real about it. So I have a very special guest. Like I said, again, her name is Miss Kiauna, and she has a security business. You guys, she does security. I don't see a lot of women in this field, and so I was so excited when I met her. I think we met maybe about a year ago. I'm not sure how long it's been, but I met her and I was just so excited to hear more about what she did in the field of law enforcement, security, and all that she did. And she'll tell you guys a whole lot more about what she does. I'll let her introduce herself again as well. And it's just exciting to see that there are women, females in this business too, y'all. Like we taking over in every industry. We have no limitations to where we can go. And so I'm excited. I'm proud of her. I'm so excited for all that she's able to do in the community. She just did a really big job, I believe she told me about you guys last week about this PGA tournament that her and her team were able to cover. And I'm just excited for y'all. And I just love to give people their flowers while they are still here. So, sis, I want to give you your flowers and let you know you're doing an incredible job in the community.
Oh,
You're doing
thank
great with
you.
your business. And I've got a chance to see you grow from just kind of like worried about what you were going to do to just blossoming. You've just been blossoming. You've been doing so many things. So I just want to give you flowers while you're here to receive them and say you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you so much,
uh,
Nora.
go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them about what you're doing, who you are, and a little bit more about everything.
Okay, thank you so much, Nora. You do a wonderful job. Also, I'm so proud of you as well.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kiauna Rayanu. As Nora said, I own a security business. I love what I do. I've been doing law enforcement for about 21 years. I'm passionate in what I do. And I just love it. I love to protect, I love to serve, and I love to make sure that everybody is safe. I also have my bullying campaign where I go around to the schools and I talk to the classes and the students about bullying, and bullying is not okay. And I would love to come to your kids' school. So please let me know how I could be of help.
That's awesome. I like that. I'll ask you a question about that just because I'm so interested. Where did that idea of starting a bullying campaign? I know it's so important and it's so needed in schools, especially with all these videos you see on TikTok and Facebook, that circulate
Mhm.
about kids being bullied and even up into suicide, if I can even say that. I
Right,
hope they don't bleed me out for that. But some people end up unaliving themselves, especially children when they are
right.
bullied. Where did your passion for starting that bullying campaign come from?
Um, my passion is that I was bullied a little bit growing up. It was more so the end of middle school, and I remember how that made me feel. So then, when
Mhm.
I used to hear stories or I see other kids getting bullied, even growing up, I used to always feel so bad because I remember just feeling so hopeless. And I remember that I just wanted somebody to help me, but then I didn't want to make the bully even madder at me. And I remember
Oh,
just being a kid and just wanting to make a yes. And so my
right.
passion comes from having that experience myself. And I learned as growing on as bullies have a lot of issues too that they go through. And I just wanted more education and aware. I started off with the school system because I wanted to implement more safety in the school program. But when it comes to more safety in the program, the first thing they say is that they don't have the funding to pay for security. even with all the things that have went on in our present times. We're not even talking about all the way back when Columbine happened. What's Columbine happened, unfortunately. So I had to come up with a different avenue to open up the questions and answer into the school system and implement the program. My grandmother always tell me you have to put up or shut up. And so putting up, and that's how my nonprofit came about. And that's the bully and to implement it. But it's to bridge relationships with the school districts so that I can also implement safety measures, safety programs, and to come into school, even if it's volunteering at the school, doing traffic time, make sure the kids and the parents, everybody have a safe transition when it's traffic. It's really busy doing drop off and pick up. And so
Right.
pick up and drop off is really, really busy. And just having a security presence there is good. And just making sure that children are safe, knowing that can't nobody just walk into school and harm our children. It's very
Right.
important.
That is good. What's the
Mhm.
name of the nonprofit?
The name of my nonprofit is Rayano Divine Safety.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, okay. That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
incredible. And it's so neat, especially what I see with all of these school shootings. Oh my God. I know it's been a lot of talk about that in the media, and people have been talking a lot about staying safe and, keeping safe and, just the anxiety I feel even letting my kids go to school. I've considered homeschool. I've considered a lot of different alternatives to school just because of like, I feel unsafe sending my kids to school. You just don't really know the time or the hour that somebody's going
Yeah.
to decide they want to, shoot up a school or, go harm students or whatever, thought that they have. So it's good that it's people like you that are campaigning for safety in schools and teaching safety and anti-bullying and giving kids outlets to express themselves so they don't get so angry where they go and harm others or harm, classmates or teachers. So that's really good. So I know that this podcast is about
Exactly.
mental.
And so, um, exactly. I used to feel the exact same way, especially when my kids were little and going to school. So I'd be at work, but I'm constantly looking at my phone and thinking about incidents like that. And the a parent's worst nightmare is not being able to protect their children from things. And so
Oh,
that always hit home with me. And that's something that always stuck with me. So even though my kids are not in first and second grade anymore, I still care about other people's kids. And I still want to make sure that they're safe. I think a lot of times with dealing with my profession and security system, a lot of people they tend to look over the security guards and don't really feel they're nobody. But what they fail to realize is that security that you might bypass and you might not even speak to them, they have actually took a oath to protect. So if a gunman walk in there, they saying that they're going to protect you if you step in front of the gun. But your children are going to be killed. That's the type of oath that I took for my family, sure that you go home to your family.
wow. See, and people don't even realize that sometimes that what's at stake for you guys when you do go out to those jobs. And so I commend you on even being able to do that. I'm sure it's a lot going into that, and we'll jump into this part of mental health. So I don't know, something is going on with your sound. So you kind of going in and out. Do you have headphones on? I don't know. If you do, I can't hear you a little
Oh,
bit. Let me
it's
see. Can you hear me a little? Can you hear
oh,
me? It might be a little choppy. It's okay.
hear you. Is this
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
oh,
Okay, so I had my first
okay?
question, I guess, going into like the mental health, and I'll talk a little bit about that because I wanted to kind of bring my audience up to speed. I had someone on here last week, Miss Erica Brown, and we talked a lot about the mental health of women who are in business as well that week. But this week, I wanted to add a layer into moms that are in business because it's already stressful enough being a woman in business, but to be a mom in this business too, I know it can be so hard to balance both worlds. And I know you have kids that are probably adult kids, if I'm right. You let me know how your kids are, but I have little
Mhm.
kids too. So, how do you navigate through your business and balance your motherhood along with that business? How does that work for you?
Um, I think that at times it can be a little challenging and overwhelming, because I have a daughter that's high functioning, but I also have some special needs. So I'm still
Oh, okay.
100% in everything that she does and everything like that. So it can be very challenging at times, but with God, we get through it.
Absolutely.
So it,
I
yeah.
love that. So when you talk about God and your spiritual peace, is it like prayer you do? What can you tell us like out here losing our minds and running around with our head cut off? We're out here trying to run our businesses and trying to maintain homes. What are some of the things that you do that help you stay balanced and focused?
Some things that I do is I meditate, and I have like go-to songs that I love, which is Jacqueline Carr, You're Bigger
Ooh,
Than Me. I have to play that on repeat all the time. That you're bigger than what I'm going through right now. You're bigger than
mhm,
diabetes. You're bigger than anything, God. You're bigger than this. And I have to remind myself that the God I serve is bigger than the situation right now. Right now,
mhm,
because when he wrote the book of life, he said that I will experience this right now, but this won't last
mhm,
always. He said the trouble won't last always. And I have to remind myself and stay grounded in that, even on the days that I feel hopeless, even on the days that I feel overwhelmed. And you just feel like, I'm kind of one of them people where everybody go to me and I don't got nobody to go
mhm.
to. And then people, we be sad in the inside. We may look like we got it all together, and we can just be breaking in the inside, and you be like, do anybody even care? So
Right.
yeah.
Wow.
Right.
That's good. I love her, by the way. I love that song too that you referenced in. It's one of my favorites actually. So
Right.
that's good. I know like a lot of times I get overwhelmed in gospel music, journaling, or any time where I'm able to go into myself and be aware of my own feelings is some of the best times that I can have to reflect and kind of regroup. And I think that's so important. Like you said, you just need the time to just slow down and know it's hope on the other end. You know what I mean? Like you got God
Right.
in there, you're not working by yourself. Because a lot of times we try to move out of our own strength and we try to do things out of our own power and we come up short every single time. But when you put God in the midst, whether that's through prayer, through that's praise and worship, whether that's going to church, however you acknowledge God in your life, I think when you invite him in and push him into your life, it becomes so much easier because it takes the pressure off of you to be doing
Yes.
everything and puts that pressure onto God. And he's the one who gets you through those moments. So I love that. I love that for you and for us too. And I think women, when you feel that way, like you said, Kiana, when you start feeling that way of overwhelming, that you go to your source. And we are not our own source. When we feel like, oh, this is bigger than us, because sometimes you feel like you're the last person on the totem pole. You've been through all your friends. And sometimes when you're the strong friend, you don't have another friend to lean on. You don't have people
Right.
giving you advice or pouring into you. You have to get that
Right.
from within. And if you don't have
Right.
anything within yourself, how do you give to people? And so a
Right.
lot of times when we were doing the vow a couple of months ago, we were talking about pouring into ourselves and filling our cups. And so I know as business women, we're constantly emptying our cups, right? We're constantly giving,
Right.
we're always on the move. And so how do you fill your cup when you're moving around? Like what do you do for self-care to rejuvenate yourself or refill yourself after pouring into your business and pouring into your children and doing all of that? How are we refilling ourselves? What do you do? Even if you don't do it, what are some ideas of what you want to do to refill yourself? Because I know you're busy.
I love my pedicure lady. She probably know a lot about me.
Yes.
I've been going to her for years, and I just love her. Okay. And I'm telling you, she's actually a therapist too.
Oh, really? Wow.
And
They always
I'm
become that,
so
you know? Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do. Oh my
true.
goodness. That
And
is
that
so good.
massage is off the chain. I do. And that really makes me feel good. And what else I do, Nora? I literally
Mhm.
drive around late at night. That is the
Wow.
coolest thing to me. And I meditate. I listen to my music and stuff like that. And I end up somewhere on the other side of town.
and
Mm,
it just frees me. It frees me just a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'll
right.
regroup and I'll say, I gotta do it all over again. But it felt good in that little hour. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You that is so good. You know what? I think I tell this story a lot here on my platform and probably on my pages, but I go to Target or I like Target or whatever store, and I won't even go in. I'll park in the parking lot, buy my favorite food, and I'll let my seat back, and I'll just chill in my car for hours just to get away. And it's like a little mini vacay. And I encourage moms who have busy homes to do that, because if your home is full of your kids and your spouse and everybody at the house, and you're constantly serving and giving to them, you need a space to get away. We don't always have money for a hotel or a cruise or a getaway. So my quick getaways, like you said, driving around town, I go to Target or I go to Walmart or whatever store, and I'll park in the parking lot. I'll get my favorite meal before I get there, whether it be Chick-fil-A or whoever I'm stopping by today. Or maybe I'll just grab popcorn in my journal, and I will sit in
Right.
that car and relax. And I will imagine that I am in a five-star hotel and I'm
I know.
cruising or whatever the case may be. But it's so refreshing. Like, I literally leave my car so rejuvenated. And my husband will say, "Are you on
Right.
one of your trips again?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, I am."
Yeah.
Because it's
Let
somewhere
me
I
be.
want to go, and like and realistically, we can't always afford it. Or even if you could, you don't
Yeah.
always have the time in your schedule to be able to go on vacation because you have so
Right.
many obligations. And so I like that idea that you said about driving around. And I'm so glad you said it, because I thought I was crazy and the only person doing
No.
it. So that's so
It's
cool
so
that
much
you do
needed,
that.
Nora. It's so much needed, Nora. Like I remember that actor. I think it's his name, Robin Givens. I don't know, but he played in Mrs. Doubtfire, that
Oh,
comedian.
Robin Williams. Yes, Robin
Robin
Williams.
Williams. I'm sorry. And I was younger, but I was so sad because I looked at him and watched him as growing up, and I said he was so sad and didn't nobody know. He poured into all our homes with all his shows he had, but didn't nobody pour into him. And that
Wow.
gotta be a very sad, that gotta be very sad in the inside for you to pour and nobody can see that you're hurting, but you're
Mhm.
filling up people cups and they running over and your cup is so empty. And
Wow.
that just got to be a sad place, you know. And I noticed, you know, on my journey, even with my business aspect and everything like that, and I'm steady talking to God. I'm like, God, you know, I'm doing this. Like you told me to plant seed in the ground. God, I got seed in the ground. I got good seed in the ground.
Right,
And,
right,
and,
right.
and so I'm telling people, hey, can you share this? Can you do this? And it was almost to a point where I felt like I was begging people to share
Yeah.
my company or talk about my company. And I said, God, I never want to do that again. I
Yeah.
never want to do that again. If they want to share your stuff there, do it freely. And then it was to the point where I was doing things, planting seeds, and the people wouldn't even acknowledge something that I planted seed for, something that I did for whatever event that they had going on. But they didn't even acknowledge my company, didn't even give me a shout out on Facebook. And it was so hurtful. And I had to kind of get over that hurt. When they don't know the seeds that I planted, I had to pay my staff to come to these places. So, and I said, I didn't do it to get a reward from them. You see what I'm saying? But
Right.
it still would have been nice to just get a shout out. Hey, Rayano Divine Security
Yeah.
did our security. I didn't get it to, I still would have been nice just to get a shout out. And I didn't get it. So then I was in a place of, now I'm offended. Now, and so
Yes.
then it's just like, well, how you want to be blessed, but now you walking around offended. So then I had to
Yes.
just let that go. And when I let it go, and it's just amazing how God does, Nora. God just send me
Yes.
complete strangers that hire me. They won't try to belittle my rates. They accept the rates, and that I deserve. I have the education, the complete background. I had somebody ask me 2 weeks ago, and they asked me. They said, why is it this? And that was the rate. I said, well, it's this because let me tell you what you're getting. You're getting somebody with 22 years of experience. You're getting somebody that is able to teach a clique class. You're getting somebody with all this on their background. So you're not just getting one thing. And by the way, I'm a good selfie picture too. I ain't just a selfie. I take your selfie
Yes.
for you too. So
That
let me
part. Oh my goodness. Mhm.
You getting a jack of all trades here, but and
Right.
I had to stand on that. So I noticed the beginning of 2023, I made some mistakes, and when I said I made some mistakes, is that I I went with my heart on a lot of things, and going with my heart on a lot of things, it ended up hurting me in the long run, business wise.
Yeah.
So the ending this part of 2023, I can't go so much with my heart. Of course, if God tells me to do something, I will always be obedient to Him, always. Because when God tells you to move, you just have to move. It's not about the amount of money. If He tells you to do something, you have to act and be obedient about it. So the
Absolutely.
second, and so I'm a little clear now. Going with my heart, it got me in a world of trouble. And I mean, it when stuff is starting to hurt you more than help you,
Yeah.
you're not really being a help. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I sure
So
do.
so things are clear now, and God is just opening new doors and new avenues. People that um, didn't notice me, now they're calling me, but the only thing this time, Nora, I'm not answering because because I can do that
Right.
now. I
I
used to
love this.
I'm not answering them because they could keep my number. I would not block them at all, not at all. I just won't answer it because when I needed them to notice me, they didn't notice me. And
Right.
that's okay because I love you, but I'm gonna love you from right over there. And that's
Right.
keeping my mental peace together. And
Wow.
it's okay. It's all
And
love. I love you.
that mental piece is so important.
It
And,
is.
and listen, because yesterday's price is not today's price. It's like prices went up. You should have got me when I was that price and you could afford me. And I love the transition you're making. I see it. I've watched you, and I've always been a supportive you, and I'm
Yes,
so glad
thank
you
you.
stuck to it. I'm so glad that even in
Yes.
spite of those times when people were not, and I just remember you coming alongside me in some of the darkest times in my life. Like,
Yes.
I was
Oh,
going through that with my mom. And like I
oh,
said, and
Nora.
it's kind of bringing tears to my eyes. So sorry if I
I
cry.
love
I'm a
you.
big old
No, I
crybaby
love
on
you.
here. But I get really emotional when I talk about my mom. But I want to say, y'all,
Yes,
that
of
Kiana
course.
came alongside me at a time that was incredibly dark and heavy
Oh,
for me in the
Nora.
arena of grief. And a lot of
I
people
love
that
you,
I
Nora.
thought would did not. And so it was a blessing to have her. I remember you doing that, and I had to bow out of an event, and one of my friends came in and helped me out.
Oh,
And I was so
yes.
thankful, and I still wanted to support you even in my grief, but you came through. I mean, we met for dinner, or I remember a lunch,
Right.
and just that day, just you being there for me, taking care of that bill that day. Those small gestures to me go a long way because I'm a person who was in your shoes, years ago when I was always the one giving, giving, giving. To see that
Right.
thing come in full circle, you
Mhm.
just never know how God is using you to bless people. Like you, and even
Amen.
in the day that I met you at the restaurant, that you didn't know was that was the day I got the call from the nurses that said my mom was going on hospice. So I was very
Oh,
low, and I literally had literally hung up the phone with them and
oh,
entered in the restaurant with you. And
oh,
so
my-
in that meeting, you had no idea, but the love that you
oh,
showed me in that moment, I can't even explain. Like you have a heart of gold. And whoever misses you, that's their loss. I want you to know that right now. That was their
oh,
loss. They didn't deserve you at that time. And look at you now. Okay. Look at me now. Like, so you are doing well.
thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing because yeah, you welcome. It's paying
Thank
off.
you, Lord.
And whoever hires you now know that they're getting a bang for their buck. Not only are you caring for their
Yeah,
people's physical safety, you're caring for the heart of people. And that's a whole nother
yeah,
level. That's something that people cannot touch or buy because you care about
right.
people's hearts, you care about their minds, you care about the
Yes,
whole person. Even though you're securing them from like a physical threats, you're also
right.
concerned about people when they're having bad days because you'll stop and say, "You look like you kind of sad.
Yes,
You look like you know what's going on with you," and you know that weight of people, and
right.
and that's good. That's an insight. That's a gift. That's a gift that you have. You got to double portion
Amen.
gifts. So I thank God for
Amen.
women like you, Miss Kiana. I thank God that you're out here doing the work that you're doing, and keep doing this work. This work is
Oh,
important. This work is good. So I just wanted you to know that, sis. And I didn't know if you knew that impact you had, but I wanted to tell you now
no.
that it was very impactful. And I know I'm like over here tearing up under these lashes, but it was so impactful. And like I said, you met me on probably one of the worst days of my life. And because of the way you treated me in the restaurant and handled me in the restaurant, unbeknownst to you, you made that day bearable for me. So thank you.
Nora, you know what, Nora, I thank you, and you know that I love you, and you know that
Yeah.
I didn't want to be too pushy in your time, your moment. I wanted
Right.
to give you all your space, but I wanted to run to your house and hug you and do all that stuff. But I knew you needed your space, and
Yeah.
and I love you, and I thank you. And I thank you, and I'm so proud of you because when they say Black Girl Magic Rock, that is Nora. That is you. And I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
of you. I just
Thank
love you
you.
because your energy and your love, the same thing that you said that I gave you, it's because you give it to so many people, Nora, and it's just your time to get it back. All the
Yeah.
seeds that you have planted along the years, it's just time for you to just reap everything that you have already planted. And you
Thank
can't do
you.
nothing but keep going and keep going and keep reaping, and you will continue. And I just love you because you're genuine, and you say exactly how you feel, and you mean what you say. Stick, you stick by what you say. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? and
exactly.
and and I love that, and I love that for you, and I thank you for pushing me in the words that you have said to me because it's been trying. It's been
Yeah, it
some
has.
trying moments,
Yeah.
and everything like that, and for you to from day one acknowledge me. I remember you told me, you said, Kenna, when I met you, I'm like, man, like you a Black girl and you got a security company. That's
I
pretty
know, I was
cool.
so
I
shocked. I think I said it like I had no, I was like, what? Okay, okay, sis. I was so
was
happy for you though.
I
Because
was so
you are the first black woman I've ever met with a security business. I've never met any a black woman
yeah,
with a security business. So that's
I
tremendous.
was like,
Yeah,
thank you for that. And my uncle, sometimes I don't like to give myself any credit, but my uncle made me think the other day. He was like, Kiana, I just want you to know that the PGA was worldwide. It was all kind of news there. And you was the ground security. The ground security, anybody in security business know the ground security is the most important security team.
absolutely.
If anything goes on, any bomb threats, anything, the ground security is going to get it first because we camping out all night. We want to make sure you and your family are safe when y'all come into this big arena with these concerts. They had a big concerts, over 10,000 people and everything like that. And I'm like, he said, I just want you to give yourself some credit. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think that. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, heck yeah, that was huge. I mean, I kind of live right over here by the PG where they had the tournament over
yeah.
here. I live right like about a couple blocks away, so I seen all the cars and stuff by ORU, and
Uh-huh.
I had no idea that you were running that. That thing was huge. Like they shut
Uh-huh.
down everything over here. So
Yes.
absolutely. And sometimes I think we get lost in who we are. We live in a society where they say, okay, you are being too cocky, blah blah blah. But
Right.
sometimes we sabotage ourselves into thinking that we're
Right.
less than, and all of that.
Yes.
Like you gotta, if don't nobody cheer you on, you gotta cheer yourself on because the world is full of
Yes.
people. The world is full of people who will tear you down at every chance they get, and people will see your
Right.
greatness and not tell you because they don't want you to outshine them. And people
Right.
love you if you're on a level or lower. But as soon as you bypass them, it's a whole nother ball game. You're not as
Right.
great. I thought you said I was good at that. Now I'm not. So these is kind of things you have to watch. It's that mental stigmas that you have to deal with from other people and that weeding out. I was talking to a friend I met for coffee the other day because I'm doing that, y'all. Now I'm back
Uh-huh.
out meeting for coffee now. And we were talking about
Uh-huh.
how we vet our friends. Like we got to be able to know who's around us, even just because people are in business with you or doing different things that you may
Right.
be doing, don't mean they always for you. And it's got to
That's
be a
right.
process that you say that I got to do something to protect my mental health. What do I do in
Right.
these friendships when things are not going well or I'm not protecting my mental health? So
Right.
I know you talked a lot about that before, about people who just kind of betrayed you and you did things for them and all of that. How is the recovery from all of that going? Like, where are you at with people in relationships? And what advice would you give people right now?
Um, I think that the recovery is going great. Um,
I like
I,
that.
I think so because I know that a couple of months ago it was a prayer that I had been praying, a consistent prayer. I said, God, because I lost both of my best friends 3 months from each other, and the same year. So it was a pretty rough year at that time. And I said, God, I want some genuinely like friends, like girlfriends, like that, like they cheering for me and I'm doing backflips for them because I'm gonna give you more energy. It just
Right.
excites me to see my friends win. I just feel like I win. Like it's just, I love to see my friends win or people that I love the most to win. It just warms my heart. It really does. And I said, God, I just need somebody like that. I just need somebody to clap for me in the weirdest way. He sent a person like that, and it was crazy how we met. But you never know why God does things, and I just thank Him for that. So that helped me along my healing process, going through them different hurdles and all the different betrayals. It actually helped my healing process to be able to open my heart again and let somebody back in again after you've been through certain situations that people betrayed you and stuff like that. And knowing it's okay to love again. It's okay to put down your guards again. It's okay. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's not the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Mhm.
ain't out to get you. And it is
Yeah.
level. I'm so glad that we having this conversation when it comes to
Mhm.
business and business friendships and collaborations and getting with other women or even men in business, because
Right.
it's a shark tank out here. It really is.
Right. Oh,
And you don't know who is out to get you. So getting back and rebuilding yourself the way you
right.
have and being able to trust is
Mhm.
definitely a process. It's a feed. It's a journey. It's a
Yeah.
healing journey. It's forever developing. And as I was talking to the lady or one of the friends, she's becoming a friend of mine, and we
Uh-huh.
talked about levels of friendships and being able to say, okay, this person may be in my inner circle and this person may be on the outer
Right.
circle, and then you have your
Uh-huh.
people that are just fans. Because some people are just fans of the work you do; they just love what you're doing, and they're not
Right.
really for you as a human being. Like you're not gonna be able to call them in the middle of the night. And so I had to really put people in categories because I have a big heart. Everybody's my friend. Like if you're doing stuff for me and I'm liking you, we're gonna become friends. But I had to realize, Nora, everybody you meet is not gonna be your friend. So I would get disappointed by the actions I would see from different people. And so I
Right.
had to lower my expectations and put people into categories. I truly did. And that was
Right.
able to manage and realize like they only can give what they can give, and I can't be thankful
Right.
to them for what they gave me in that season. And I started
Right.
to accept that, like, hey, if they do show up to my thing, that's okay. If they don't show up, that's okay too. I'm going to
Right.
continue going on, and I'm not going to put expectations on people that don't belong there. And so
Right.
it has been so helpful for me in this journey. But I know what you're saying,
Oh.
girl. I don't know how many times I got disappointed. I mean, I've
Right.
been doing Girl Talk since 2015, and I've been betrayed on every level you can think about. People stole
Right.
my ideas, they've ran off with me, they've stood me up, I've been through
Right.
so much with people. But I think through it all, in order to remain humble and not bitter or have resentment in my heart, is that I took that all as lessons, and I knew that God was
Right.
in control. At the end of the day, spoiler
Yeah.
alert, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna
Amen.
win at this game, no matter what people say or do not say, whether they
Uh,
show up or don't show up. I know that
yeah.
God has already written my story. So when people betray
Amen.
me and do stuff, I don't get offended anymore. I'm like, oh, that was
Right.
just part of it. That was just one page in
It's
this big
part of
book,
the journey.
and we're gonna keep it pushing. So
Right.
but when people do come in my life who treat me well and do me well, I embrace that and I'm thankful for them. I don't dwell on the
Right.
negative, because truly I have more people for me than I
Right.
do against me, because the enemy will trick you into believing that everybody's against you. And that's not
Yes.
true. You have more
Yes.
people for you than you have against you at the end of the day. And
Amen.
it always counts. I look at, and as human nature, we seek what people are supporting us, and we always want more. When I
Yeah.
was growing on my platforms, right, I was like, oh, I had dreamed of getting to 10,000 followers, and when I hit 10,000, I said, well, I want more. I just want more. I'm greedy. I'm getting here. I want more women. I want more people to see God. I want more people to go get
Right.
therapy, get mental health. I just want more, more, more. And God began to tell me to be humble for what you have. What do you have at your hands? Remember the days when you had nobody. Remember the days when this
Right.
was not an up and running program. Remember the days when you were shy and your voice was shaking and people thought you were mute. Remember those days, and where you came from. And I
Amen.
automatically became grateful for where I am
Amen.
now. It's
Thank
just
you,
been
God.
a process. Oh my goodness.
Amen.
But anyway, so what do you have any final words for the ladies? I know we're getting ready to wrap it up. What are some final things you would say when it comes to taking care of your mental health as a mom, a businesswoman, whichever avenue you want to go? What are some advice that you can give women to take care of their mental health?
Remember that it's okay to love yourself. Remember that
Yeah.
it's okay to go to the store and buy yourself something special. You're not being less than a parent because you made a trip to the store and it was just for you. Don't
Mm,
feel guilty about that because you deserve it. Whatever it is, if it's a pair of shoes, if it's a notebook, it's okay. Remember to love on yourself. And remember, you loving on yourself and feeling good on yourself and about yourself and make you an even more better spouse, a better mother, a better friend. So just
mhm.
remember to love on yourself and remember never stop dreaming no matter how old you are. Continue to dream and your dreams will come true no matter how far somebody say that it looks crazy. It's not crazy to you. Just keep
Mm.
on pushing. Know that as long as he gave you the vision, he's going to surround you with everybody you need to implement that vision, and it will come to pass.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. The lady said, I'm loving it. I love it. I love it. Somebody said, yeah, with capital Y. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Kiana. I
Thank
love what
you.
you're doing. I've said it, probably 10 times through this interview that I love the energy you bring and what you're doing. I'm
Oh, I
so
love
impressed
you.
with you, being a female entrepreneur in the security and law enforcement
Mhm.
business. It's not too many of us. So I'm loving that you're taking up your space and you're doing it with such dignity and honesty and integrity. And that's something a lot of people don't possess. They may have one, but they ain't got all three like you got. You got the integrity, you got
Oh,
the
thank you,
honesty,
Nora.
and you have that spirit to really truly help people. So keep doing this work. I love it. I love it, love it, love
I
it. So
will.
you guys make sure you guys follow her. Can you tell us where we can follow you or support you, or how we can support you online and on social media?
Yes, you can follow me at Kiauna Rayanu, and then my company is Rayanu Divine Security. You can follow me there. I would love your support with my nonprofit with the anti-bullying campaign. I have shirts and bracelets that we can do donations to give gift bags to the children at the school. With my nonprofit, we'd love to have your support any way that is.
That's awesome. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from her. Make sure you guys follow. At the end of this video, I will place everything in the comments. I'll link her page, her Facebook and Instagram, and whatever else we got, TikTok, whatever you got, sis. I'm gonna post it down there because I want people to follow and support what you do. This is so incredible. I love the work, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
You're
you, Nora. You keep on doing what you're doing. You have a platform and you're sharing your platform and you bringing so much awareness to mental health and everything that you bring awareness for. Even stepmoms and the love there,
yes.
and that is just so important topics that you have brung up, and you even have made me see a new light on that aspect. Which some things that I went through with that. So you opened my eye. You see what I'm saying? And so keep doing it
Yeah.
because we're rooting for you and we want you to continue winning.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, ladies, we're gonna wrap it up. We'll be be back here next week at 6:30, and I'll have another special guest. I'm so thankful for all the women that have been coming in. We got a whole lineup, you guys, for the month of May, and we're going into June. So we're talking to all these women in businesses, and we want you guys to support them in the local community. These are all local business owners who are out here doing their thing. So y'all continue to support me so I can continue to support them. All right, ladies, y'all have a good night, and I will see you next week for another Nights with Nora. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good week, guys.
You too.